Looking Glass is the long-awaited sequel to Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, apparently. Only this time around, Tim Burton just serves as a producer. And it's pretty obvious, but we'll get to that later. The film is very, very loosely based on the original Lewis Carroll novel Through the Looking Glass and what Alice found there, in that Alice goes through a looking glass. And that's where the similarities end, because then it just becomes a time travel movie. Yeah, time travel. In Wonderland. No, I'm sorry, Underland. In terms of comparing it to the first film, I will say this. While it's probably just as bad as the original, I did find that I enjoyed it a lot more. The new director is James Bobin, who did the 2 recent Muppet movies, and a bunch of Sacha Baron Cohen stuff, which explains his casting, but the Muppet thing kind of explains the different tone and visual feel of the whole thing. A big problem I had with the original was that everything was all dank and gloomy looking. Even for Tim Burton, who usually at least has some brightness in his films, this movie is much more bright and colorful and much more how you would think Wonderland would look instead of just being some American McGee ripoff. It also seems to take itself a little less seriously than the previous one. The story is sillier, the acting is more over the top, and even the scenes in Victorian England and the stuffy noblemen seem to have become almost self-parody in how exaggerated it is. And it fits much more with what a Wonderland story should be. A Wonderland film should be simple and goofy and silly and a good time. That's not to say that the film is goofy all the time. They get into some pretty dark stuff. But the overall film itself is sillier and over the top instead of some weird chosen one fantasy epic like the first one tried to be. Alright, done being nice. Time travel in an Alice in Wonderland movie? Really? I mean, why? Why is there a sequel in the first place? But more importantly, why add such a sticky plot device in what should be a simple story? It doesn't get that complicated like so many other films with time travel can get sometimes. But it just doesn't fit with the universe of the film. The idea that time itself is a guy with a bunch of pocket watches fits, but including a time machine just comes across as weird. Just really weird to include in an Alice in Wonderland story, especially since it involves a lot of steampunk designs, which I'm pretty sure is the Wizard of Oz's domain. And while I can appreciate the story being a little simpler and sillier, it kind of backfires because it makes this and the first film kind of even worse. Well, time traveling. We find out the real reason the Red Queen hates her sister, killed a bunch of people, and tried to take over Wonderland. And let me tell you, it's pretty fucking stupid, because apparently this was something that could have been very easily resolved years ago. But it gets resolved here, and suddenly everything's okay now. Bullshit. So not only does this turn the Red Queen's villainy into just some petty grudge and makes the White Queen look like a complete idiot, but it basically makes the entire first movie plot pointless. And honestly, the film's existence itself is pretty pointless. There's absolutely no need for a sequel, especially 6 years later. No one cares anymore. I guess maybe it's because of the success of Disney's recent live-action remakes, so they decided to come back to this, which, yeah, I guess makes sense, but I'm still mad about it. So, do I recommend this? I guess, if you don't give 2 shits about X-Men. God, I hope June is better.